I think that some people will be coming, okay, so I just want to have a short announcement about our day-to-day. Fortunately, no changes in the timetable, it's okay, so everybody is here. Those people who cannot come, Katja, I think we will talk about the workshop, or everything is fine? Because I'm
It's just
talking
that
about
we changed.
Utah's, yes.
We just changed, so in the morning there will be Jamie,
Mm-hmm.
who was supposed to give his workshop in the afternoon, and
Okay.
in the afternoon it will be Goni, who replaces Jutta because she's ill. So
Yeah, so this is the only change,
Yeah.
but in terms of time, we are okay, so the same time, the same slots, lunchtime, coffee time, etc. So instead of 11:20, Jutta Senjik, who, well, we know she got COVID, we will have a workshop run by Jamie, and then we will switch, and in the afternoon probably it will be another speaker. So this is the formal announcement for today. The weather is brilliant, so I think we can start. It is the time to start, because I don't have any extra announcements unless we have some questions. Do we have any questions, or would you like to share with us memories from your night walk, sightseeing, or let's keep it secret? So I think we'll just, okay, yeah. So we have just a few minutes, okay, because I don't want to rush with our presentation. So if you fancy more coffee or just some small talk, it is okay.
10
Right?
to 9, 10 to 10. So maybe if some people come.
Yeah.
Much better.
Good.
How you been gathering?
Słuchaj, Maria.
A ten taki najnowszy timetable to jest to.
Tak, tylko już nie ma nie zmienione.
Nie, okej. Czyli, ale godziny Jamie'ego i tam się zgadzają, nie? Już jest. Okay. So basically we okay. We have some more minutes. Are they, Maria is coming, and Deborah, are they coming? Proszę. Którego nie wolno mi ruszać?
Tego nie ruszasz, bo chcesz wrócić tego konferencji, nie? I tutaj jest tylko sobie już tam też jest pilocik do ciebie. Pilocik działa.
That's why. You can see this question.
No. It's mostly
It's absolutely at the same time. I will show you some.
You want some more time? I do. I recently, there was a very huge traffic jam from my home, and I was thinking that I will be late. I called coach and said, okay, you are for the coach. No, Jamie. Oops. How is the hotel? Everything's okay? It's nice, quiet.
I like it very much, very convenient.
The rules are out tomorrow, yesterday?
No, they were, I have to do the bit of all the assignments to approve the grades today.
Let me check whether it works. No. Okay, I think we could start, because if we have more people coming, there will be a kind of, we do hope, a discussion. So we'll just present our intellectual output. And the outline for today is to give you some introduction, especially to people who don't know about it. And we will talk about two guides. One is for academic teachers, and the second one is for administrative staff. And of course, there is always a big question mark about future collaboration, how we all can use these two documents, whether they would be interesting for our content academics also at our universities. Okay, so this is what we would like to present. A few just ideas about badge project. We as partners know, but our colleagues who are with us today don't know too much about it. So 14 universities, 3 years project, and today, well, these 3 days is just the dissemination event in Poznan. So I think this project was quite complicated in terms of intellectual outputs. Yesterday we were talking about well, the jargon or language used in Erasmus projects. Intellectual output is sometimes in other projects work package. Okay, so this is what we worked, divided into different groups. So we have 8 intellectual outputs. Yesterday Maria presented intellectual output 1. This is the involvement of partners from Valencia University, from Krakow, and from Poznan. So this is where we worked and created courses. So the discussion on the Moodle is still going on, okay, how we would work so to make all the courses available, okay, to our partners and people from other universities. And we switched to intellectual output 8, which is English medium instruction for academic teachers and administrative staff. And this output, the work has been done by 2 partners this time. It was Spain, Universidad Politécnica de Valencia, and Poznan University. People who were involved in that project is brave Christina from Spain, okay, who I'm brave because she was the only one, represented university, and on our side from PUT, we felt more comfortable, Kasia, you know,
I've been fighting with them.
Małgorzata, and myself. Okay, so what we created and what we wanted to give, let's say, and deliver after the project were 2 guides. One, and this is the guide we are talking about now, is guide for academic teachers. It will be a kind of small book, a leaflet, where you can find information useful not for linguists, okay, but for content academic teachers. Tomorrow we will have a small debate, and I invited two professors from Faculty of Civil Engineering, and probably David, if you ask some questions during the debate on usefulness of such guide, you could see and you would listen to their answers. And I think that when we were preparing the guides, we also used their experience, okay? Because we introduced EMI at our university. Christina also has fields of studies in English,
I think
all right?
what is important is that we were teachers given contents in English.
Yes.
That is not the same. They have to change, not only translating the documents or the lessons, they need to apply different techniques. It's not a question of translating what you have in your native language and translating to English and just deliver the lesson. Something else. The techniques is different, the sound should be different, and what we have done is consider them as a group of teachers that have to be trained on teaching in English, right?
Yes.
Giving them the opportunity to apply different techniques and to know how to deliver the lessons and how to deal with the students in a different language that is not a native language for anybody.
Mhm. The important issue is also that we wanted content academic teachers to understand that a huge difference in teaching in a native language to English, but also that's why we have some topics in the guide connected with communicating with international group. Okay, so intercultural communication and as one topic, but another issue is also communicating in intercultural settings. Okay, when you have groups of different nationalities and you have to deliver a content, for example, a course like strengths of materials. Okay, so what the difference is when you teach in native language and in
The
English.
teachers to be aware of that.
Yes.
So, be conscious that they are dealing with different students from different cultures, and English is the medium of instruction.
Yeah.
But it's not a native language for anybody in the classroom, so it has to be different.
Mhm. And I think a good experience for us from Poznan was the national project NAVA, which we run with our content academics. David, Cambridge University, was involved in this project as well. Okay, so we had 2 study visits to Cambridge, and we had 2 study visits to Viadrina, Frankfurt in Germany. And the idea behind NAVA course was to train as many academic teachers as possible in methodology of teaching in English. Okay, so we used that experience. Also, I think Christina will tell you about their document, very important at the university, but also important for us creating these 2 guides. That experience in just cooperating with content academics at both universities created some topics which are not new for us, but maybe new for other content teachers who will develop basically teaching in English. So we are going to show you the content of the first guide. So this is the introduction to EMI. Brief introduction what EMI is, okay, from let's say research point of view. And then we use a document which was prepared in Valencia, best practice guidelines from faculty adopted to this guide. So we are talking about objectives. What is the idea behind teaching EMI in English, okay, using EMI at our universities all over Europe, okay, although we know that English is not our native language, and what is the reason? Economic operation, internalization, etc., etc. Then we, it will be a short paragraph on objectives of teaching through EMI. Students' perspective, especially when we talk about international students coming, for example, on Erasmus exchange for 1 semester, 1 academic year, or sometimes full-time studies.
Yeah, because sometimes the students have an expectation, and the quality of those lessons are not as good as they expecting because of their language, so
Yes.
we have to take care about it.
Okay. Then there are points connected with language, okay, because we have to be aware that content teachers are not linguists, okay, so we show them, all right, be careful. If you need help, you have people at language centers, they will help you. But also there is a kind of autonomous, let's say, learning for them, because very often they sometimes are too proud to come and ask you for help. But this is to create courses, or to create just the idea, come, because we are ready, okay? So this is the point. And I think that we have also some ideas connected with quality. We will talk about it later. And a few paragraphs on assessment, continuing professional development, and so-called tutor checklist. The guide is like, that's why I said a booklet or small book, because you just take paragraphs which are important for you, okay? You don't have to read the whole document, just find the page which you would like to. Then in our guide we have one chapter on presentation skills. Yesterday we talked in Intellectual Output 1 on the whole module, but this is something different because you have professors in mathematics, physics, architecture, and suddenly you want to say, no, this is not a good presentation in international setting. You cannot just show the slides, and we had such experience at our university. In international groups, professors came, showed the slides in English, and no more explanation, because his English wasn't too good, so he was a little bit just afraid of talking. And international students ask, okay, what's this? Where is the communication? All right. So again, we had well.
This idea is to help the teachers teaching in English to be more confident.
Yes.
In their lessons.
This is the most important.
And to be able to transmit information as well as they do in using their native language.
Yes.
So, because sometimes happens that some teachers are there because they have to, because the department just force them to deliver the lessons in English, and we need to give them
Feedback.
Feedback and helping them. And we have done it at the university, and they are considered now, they feel like we are helping them. Using their expertise and the knowledge that they have already, but delivering in a different language, so they need help. And we have convinced them that they need the help, but we are offering. Right?
Okay, the next chapter is about intercultural communication. So we decided to describe the way intercultural communication is understood by Gert Hofstede, Edward Hall, Richard Gesteland, of course stating that there are more and more theories that they can use, but generally to have idea why international students behave differently than your natives, okay? So what to do if we have, for example, team projects and people work, how to sometimes even divide students and put students in different groups, okay? Taking into account, unfortunately, I have to say that some religion preferences, okay, politics, etc., etc. So expertise from our life, okay, shows that there could be a lot to take into account, all right, when we put students in international teams for collaboration. So we thought, okay, this will be a good start for some content teachers who very often compare teaching in international groups to teaching in homogeneous groups. And this is not the same. We all know that, but they don't, okay? So sometimes we had during NAVA courses, during our just previous project, we had questions, okay? Could you give us some literature on intercultural communication, on differences, how to teach in intercultural groups? And there are many. Okay, so we can provide. So that's why in this guide we put this chapter for just extra reading. Then we have EMI scenarios, which is simply example of classes lessons which a content academic teacher could read, how we develop some glossary terms, specific English for specific purposes, how to teach terminology. Okay, it's not just a glossary term and like in a dictionary translation, or if we use monolingual dictionaries, explanation what a given word means. But this gives them very practical approaches. Okay, so we had
how to anticipate the vocabulary they are going to need, the content words, right? It's important to anticipate the vocabulary for the students, for example, so how important is it?
Yeah. And the next chapter is called glossary terms. Here we put vocabulary words which content academic teachers may not know. Sometimes it is very simple, like dean, dean's office, but everything what is connected with teaching in English, all right? So the whole infrastructure at university, the words like master thesis, bachelor thesis.
Using international language, because
so
some of them are called tutorials, the other ones are students attendance, so they need to use an international language, a common language for international students, right?
And there are 4 additional materials which some people may use when we talk about quality assurance and just things connected with the guide. Okay, so 3 questions. How should the guide for academic teachers be used? Well, very simple. It is a kind of material of reference. They can read the whole document, but they can find chapters they're particularly interested in. They need for their development. So it is prepared. Who should read the guide for academic teachers? I think everybody who wants to teach in English, and especially so-called newcomers, fresh teachers, content teachers who come to the world of teaching in international groups. From my university perspective, we know that when we analyze some chapters with them, they found it very useful. Okay, so sometimes even they add glossary terms, because people sometimes use different terminology talking about the same issue. Okay, so it was like help, it was like needs analysis, and of course talk with them. And finally, could an academic teacher implement the ideas from the guide? Of course, because the guide is for them. All right, so it is a document which I think can be used in international setting by just content academics. And now I think we will tell you a few just ideas from the guide which are important, because I think it is important, as Christina said, to try to make our content academics aware that EMI is a process, it is continuous development. It's not the case to put the certificate, proficiency certificate, and say, okay, you can teach because you are the best in English, but it is the idea of methodology of teaching, okay, in English. So I think suddenly we take, in our case, technical university teachers of mathematics, physics, and we talk with them about methodology of running classes, delivering lectures, giving presentations, okay? So they, from their content, they suddenly should shift to something very different.
To convince them that they are very good in their subjects and they can deliver the lessons, but they need help in delivering in English, right?
So
this is not easy at the beginning, but once they, for example, if we do observation and we convince them to just go to the lessons and just take notes and do it in a positive way, telling them we are not criticizing, we are helping you to improve.
this is
And
important, yes.
to have the same quality in the lessons that you deliver in English and that you deliver in your own language.
Mhm.
So they feel they're more confident and they realize that they need help when we just give them examples of what they are doing, right?
I think you are right, and this is very important to tell the teachers that we are not to judge you, okay? We are not to put you the grade, 5, 4, 3, whatever. you are not going to fail meeting with us, okay? Because we are partners, and basically we are on the same bench, okay? We are working with students, and we just think that it will be very important in terms of quality to talk and to tell them that if you have almost perfect class, your assessment and let's say feedback from students will be positive, and you will have more students coming to your class, okay? Because you will be understood, you will be friendly, and you will be confident in English.
And
And
in
the
university-
confidence comes to you, okay? It takes time. They have to understand that it's not like, okay, I know English, I can teach. You can't, okay? You need the guide, and that's why we are here, okay? So what is the quality? It is also important to make the people aware that in our world at universities they compete internationally, okay? So the value is very important of teaching and standards of teaching, okay?
Because
So-
students are going to compare.
yeah, absolutely. So I think that when we prepared these documents, we had a lot of talks and even online. But of course, it was what can we offer? What can we? What other documents can be useful for us and for our content teachers? So this is the quality framework, the best practice guidelines, okay? But also a lot of support for teachers through training, okay? So the guide is the beginning, whereas we think that the idea would be to offer trainings, okay? To offer even short courses at universities, having the guide as one of the materials they can use and we can use together. And of course, the final, which you can see, experience of language teachers and support of content academic teachers. It was very interesting. I haven't prepared this on the slide, but just to tell you that it was very interesting when we ran the course with Kasia and Małgosia to our content academic teachers at our university, and we asked them a question: who are the stakeholders important for running EMI perfectly at your university? Put the groups, the names, whatever. Okay, so they started, of course, with faculty authorities because the money comes from the faculty authorities. Then we had students. Then we had people from companies, national, international, because needs analysis comes from companies, stakeholders, okay? And some put a tiny bubble, okay, with language centers. And I said, why tiny, small? I want bigger, okay, because we are here. And this is, to shift their way of thinking, all right? Support coming from companies, expertise coming from companies, money coming from faculty, but language center, okay, ready to help you with many ready materials, okay? So reference, even teacher to teacher or language center to faculty. So I think that
why
was
the training, they change
Yeah.
their problems and they realize that they are not alone there and they're having the problems that other colleagues are having. And sharing the problems helps them to improve their lessons as well. And they do realize that it's convenient for them, the training. So that's
Absolutely.
our experience.
Okay, so we have the best practice guidelines. Okay, so few ideas, few paragraphs on, again, students' perspective, and this is what you could just see on the table of contents, but I think that we also talked about assessment in EMI, comparing different tests, what can you test, how can you test, okay, so a great help was from Christina's side because she is specialist in testing, so it was important to use the knowledge, the expertise from previous, let's say, if not projects, at least from previous testing, basically, okay? So you can find information very concise in form of attachments. And then the chapter on presentation skills, I'm going just examples how the guide is constructed, okay? So these are just ideas, teachers can use, all right? So dress to impress, blah, blah, blah. Speak clearly. Body language is important, okay? So it's just in a form of tips. Content teachers should be aware.
And those
Okay.
tips are for teachers, but also for teachers who train the teachers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Something that you can use as teacher training.
Yeah.
Right?
Here on intercultural communication, I think, of course, we can always put a question mark when Edward Hall, silent language, the father of, I think, intercultural communication. So it's like Bible, okay? This is good, so content teachers, they know as well why we pay attention to intercultural communication. Controversial get Hofstede, we know that, but we wanted to show with some tables, different indexes, how people from different countries are described, because we thought it will help content teachers, especially when we have team projects, okay? So they realize that, you want somebody talkative, you want somebody who likes being, let's say, leader, take this nationality. You want somebody individualist, work, etc., take that nationality, okay? Sometimes we even ask, okay? We don't realize that this is the way. And Richard Gestland, if you are familiar, 4 indexes, very simple division, but the guy was for many years working as a representative of diplomacy in Asian countries, and afterwards he went to some university life, and his indexes are based on just questionnaires and research of, let's say, marketing leaders. And the description of cultures, again, controversial, and we always tell content teachers that, remember, it's a theory which you can always ask questions, argue about, etc., but at least there is a kind of feedback we can use. Then we had, as I said, scenarios and a glossary terms. So this is the guide, okay, which I think could be, now it's almost 60 pages, all right, so it's a nice booklet for as a material of reference. We put many books on EMI which we thought could be useful for content teachers.
But the books are more general. We are just more precise in using it in the classroom with the teachers and teacher training, and it's supposed to be a help for the teachers and for the teacher training.
Yeah.
And it's less general than the manuals that we have.
So then the second book, it was for administrative staff, because we thought that faculties were studies are run in English. We need some help also to be given to administrative staff, people who also use English, but a little bit differently than content teachers. So if you look at the table of contents, we provide with some introduction to EMI. Intercultural communication is described the same way as in the first book, because we thought it is important to know why there are a lot of conflicts, especially when we have international students from Africa or from Asia coming to Dean's office and talking with our Polish ladies, okay? So it's a lot of misunderstanding, etc., etc. It was like, do something, help us, okay? So that's why we thought it would be useful if they have the knowledge.
To the faculty and to the members of the university, we want everybody to be aware that the first sometimes that international students face at the university are the just administrative staff, and they are not aware of the differences, and maybe they just do things that they are not convenient according to the student that they are dealing with. And we talk about internationalization, it's not a question of just teachers teaching in English, it's something else at the university.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be ready, and sometimes the administrative staff is the one who just face first time with the students and they do not how to.
I think it's useful to have the guide, especially for people. I put here who should read the guide for administrative staff, anyone working with students in different offices at universities. Okay, so international relations office. I think people, they are already equipped with a lot of knowledge. Okay, because they participate in enrolling Erasmus students, full-time students. But sometimes we talk about secretaries, okay, working in different institutes, people where international students come because of the content teachers, but they, first of all, as you said, the first meeting is with administration, okay, so very often there is misunderstanding, poor knowledge of English, whatever, so we decided that it could be useful for them to know. And what is interesting in this guide, we prepared so-called EMI scenarios, which are ready, prepared, small dialogues you can have with international students.
Small talk. Small talk for
Yes.
administrative staff, right?
Well, can I help you? Yes, please. What's the problem? I didn't manage to take my exams because I was sick. I have my doctor's note with me. The exam session is over tomorrow. What can I do? Okay, well, you need to write a formal letter to our dean asking for an extension of the exam session. Here is the form. Please fill it in with your data and sign it. Oh, thank you.
Standard international
Yeah.
language. Right?
Okay, so you may find it sometimes questioning why, but believe me, there are situations where students come, very different situations, starting with healthy problems, sometimes money was lost, documents, etc., etc., and we have to help these students as well. Okay, so the scenarios I put here also. Can I help you? Oh yes, I just arrived and I have a room in this dorm. Okay, what's your name, please? You are on the list. Before I give you the keys, please complete this form. It's in English. Oh, thank you. What is interesting now that we observe a lot of documents filling and ready documents which are online, but still students come to the students' hostel and there are problems, okay, because there is a lady with the key or without, because sometimes we have now students' hostel where you use the just electric key and you have the card, but they don't want to do something for the student. They don't understand, okay? So then they call international office, explain what should be done. We want to omit these situations, okay? So maybe you are in a better situation in your countries, but I think that for the last 2-3 years it was very difficult for Polish administration to deal with international students at student hostels, okay? And also bodyguards, because on the campus you could see there are bodyguards. And I myself witnessed a situation when international students asked them something in English and it was a no, 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 okay? And I said, oh my God, okay? So we went to the chancellor and we talked, no, we have to have some courses for bodyguards, at least some basic English. Turn left, go straight, don't be afraid, hands up, whatever, okay? So I don't know, but you know, it was just to give a confidence, as you said, competent academic teachers, one point, but administration, these people are everywhere here. Okay? Starting with lunch, canteens. We have, when we prepared this conference, we thought about university canteen, which is near the church over there. Very nice, very good food as well. And the thing is, because they experience that many international students are coming, so now it's like in a posh restaurant. Everything is in Polish and English, okay, choices of food, but it helped because, you know, students have healthy problems. Some don't eat or can't eat even some ingredients, okay, so you have now just the recipe, what is included, so absolutely fantastic. And when I talked with the owner, she told me, yes, because international students were asking all the time, what's in this soup? And oh, what is this soup? How to say it in English? Now it's ready-made, okay? So maybe next time, next year for the bigger conference. But just coming while we are here, I think you don't complain about food. It's perfect as well. And the guy, by the way, is running also a smaller place for students and for staff. So this is the feedback for scenarios for administrative staff.
This
Because
is much shorter than
yes,
the one.
and I think this is what we prepared. Okay, these two documents will be in PDF. They will be available, as Katja said. We will just download it on the web page, so everybody can use it. But we left the final slide with some questions or just points for discussion. Okay, because EMI is in all our universities, okay? Even people we invited here from, just for the dissemination from other partners universities, we know that they're running courses in English. So we cannot stop it. The idea would be to develop, okay, to be
And
better
improve the guide,
prepared,
maybe with those
to
speakers,
even to
it.
improve the guides, maybe to put something more from your perspective, okay? So this will be what
Because
we could
we
do.
just compare our university, we have realized that we should have things, because something happens in our culture in Spain and it's completely different
Yes.
what happens in Poland. So maybe with your experience you can read it and we can improve this.
Yeah.
We can change anything or not
We
changing,
can
but
put
maybe
more
add
scenarios,
Yes, more
different
scenarios.
scenarios, for example, okay, so this will be interesting. We thought also the idea of exchange of staff, not only language teachers, but content academics, okay, so this will be interesting. For the Polish project, we run another project. It was interesting to have people from administration and content academics.
For me it was really a good experience. I came to Liliana's courses and I just deliver a lesson to
Yeah.
the students that, and I compare my experience with my students in Spain. It's completely different. The attitude and the way they behave and everything. So it's a good idea to content teachers, because I came to deliver a lesson that was supposed to deliver in Spain with the same kind of students, with the students, and my experience was really good one.
Yeah.
And you realize that it's different, right?
So this is the idea we suggest. Of course, training of content academic teachers, and this training could be international.
Yeah.
So some modules run by us from Poland, Poznan, some modules run by you, some modules from maybe other partners. Okay, so it will be interesting to know your expertise, your interests, and somebody could say, okay, I can do this for you, and to put me in this module.
And
Okay,
teacher
so
training internationally to deliver to the EMI courses maybe may help teachers to realize that they need to be together and they have they are facing the same problems when they are in just Poland or in France or in Cambridge or wherever, you know, because they will be considered as a group of teachers teaching in English wherever they are,
Yeah.
right? So and teacher training together and maybe just using the experiences of everybody in the different countries. So
this is what I think it's, well, we experienced it, okay, because we've been doing it for years. Standards of trainings, okay, so what we offer to content academics as a course, it's interesting for us to have a standard, okay, the high standard, but also because we cooperate together, we know exactly what can be the question from Spanish side, Polish side, of course, so this is another topic to talk. And finally, because we were talking about badge for badge, okay, so it is also EMI certificate, international EMI certificate for content teachers, okay. I don't know how it goes with your university life, but in our case, a faculty which runs courses in English, this is the decision of the dean, who is responsible for certain courses, okay? So it's not that she or he picks up the person, but usually it's a discussion, who of course is the content, so professors, knowledge, experience, but also English knowledge. And at certain level, I got questions from deans. Do you think he or she can run the course? And after NAVA, okay, quite a good project, 2-year project, those content teachers who participated in our courses, they got the final certificate, which was the basic certificate for implying them in English teaching fields of studies. Okay, so we saw that was a good feedback for Dean, without any extra questioning, interviews, whatever. You got the certificate from NABA, you can run the course.
And if
You
we
will
do it
take it.
internationally and we just do it together,
Yes,
maybe
that's
it's
why
better.
we have it.
It's better for the institution to recognize
Yeah,
that
but
because we are working
it will be
internationally
nice.
with teachers from other different
Yeah.
countries. So dealing the lessons in English, so the experience of everybody, and it would help to us to just have it at the university and with the special.
And sometimes assessment from people from outside, okay?
Yeah.
It's better than from your colleagues working but sometimes drinking wine, okay, in the evening. So how can I assess him also? Well, I can, all right?
Yeah, but
I
it's not
can
the same
tell him
to
improve your
one of
English,
your colleagues
otherwise you
telling
can't.
that you are
But
doing things
you know
wrong.
the idea, okay, the philosophy. So I think it will be a very nice discussion for our future guides to be used with maybe some future project where we will have badge for content teachers, but also EMI certificate. Okay, so as a final document, if you are interested, or we can have a group of people, universities interested. Okay, so to have a certificate. Okay, of course, the preparation of the certificate.
We can organize
what is it,
modules
but
that are
yeah.
delivered for in different institutions and maybe online
Yes.
for those to avoid having real expenses to travel from one country to another. And we can deliver online and just being in charge
No,
of
it's better
different modules.
traveling. It's
Yeah,
better,
it's better traveling, but just in case.
I prefer traveling. Okay, so this is what we've done. We are happy we are almost finishing it. Okay, but I think it's well, in
It's a
my
pity
humble
because we
opinion,
wanted
it's a
to
nice
just-
document.
We wanted to just be visiting the other universities to get your expertise, but you know what
No,
happened.
it was very
We have had
difficult.
that opportunity
and,
because a good idea at the beginning was that we should go to your institutions, checking your needs and checking and being in contact with teachers teaching in English, and just incorporate the things that's why I think we need now your help to improve this, because maybe some experiences are not there in the document because we haven't had the opportunity to visit your institutions. And maybe now is the time that you have the guide in front of you and you can check if it applies to your institution or not. Or
But maybe after August, okay?
yeah, after August.
Let's put it this way. So till August, it's our document, and in September,
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
corrections, whatever. Okay, changes. I think this is also what David, you told us yesterday, that we will use these documents from intellectual outputs as a kind of feedback for our work. But if we think that we can improve, adopt, it's possible. Yeah. So this is not only the two guides, but we are talking about all courses and all products we will have basically. So the end of August is well, the two guides are on PDF on the web page, but for the future, who knows? Okay, they can be adopted and changed and modified absolutely
Yeah,
to the
upgrade.
university needs.
Upgrade.
Okay, yes, upgrade. It's a nice word. Yes. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so right now, technical break, about 5 minutes, and question, yes.
Any question?
Yeah.
Two questions, sorry. First one, you were talking about the glossary, so glossary is English-English.
English.
Could it be an idea to add maybe also different languages that we should, we could do it in French and add it so it would be easier for people to understand? So
The
you're
idea of
multilingual,
doing in
or
English
don't
is
you
because it's vocabulary they are used to in English, and the teachers used to explain, in other words, the words that they need to
Yeah.
explain in English. So you have in your, I don't know, maybe
Just an idea, but you tell us. And the second,
maybe it's a good idea. I don't know. The
second-
first idea was having it in English because
Yeah. Yeah,
there
no,
are
sure.
content words that are supposed to be explained in
It's
English.
English
and-
medium instruction, so we
Yeah.
thought it is not the idea to translate, but it is the idea to show what it means in
Yeah.
English and what is the word which should be used, for example, for tutorials, laboratories, lectures, project, team project, etc. Okay,
compulsory,
so-
not compulsory.
yeah.
That kind of idea, some expressions that you use translating from your mother tongue, and is not the
It's
meaning
a
that
kind
it
of
has.
academic
Same
language,
one, yeah.
okay, we
Oh, yeah,
use
I
for
To
EMI.
standardize the
Yeah.
academic
Yeah.
language.
And then your experience, you run already courses in France. I know the problem is that academics usually they never have time. So it's not that some don't want to do it, of course, but some also would like to do it but don't have time. So we thought about doing it in an incentive way, maybe. I don't know, wine tasting weekend while doing EMI. No, I'm kidding, but something.
Maybe not.
Huh? Oh,
No,
not?
not kidding.
Yeah, but something, some incentive. Do you have any problems?
What we've been doing
recruiting
is
people or
adapting
no?
to the timetable a lot of times. So
Yeah.
having very few small groups of teachers who can attend on Tuesday, they are coming on Tuesday. The ones who can attend on Wednesday, so you have to be very flexible with them and then attend
Very.
the lessons, even if
Yeah.
they have lessons at 9 in the evening, you go out to just check. So it's
Mm.
very difficult to get them all together because of the timetables are so different. Sometimes we have done department by department because it's easier
This is
sometimes.
easier.
This is easier.
This was also our case. We had 9 faculties, people divided into groups.
And helping them
A
with
group of 9.
using their material they are going to use in the classroom.
Mm.
So they consider that it's useful for them because instead of being at their office just preparing the lessons, they prepare the lessons during the training course, using the real material they are going to use. So this is good.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say something. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to lead to a question, but just a remark. I mean, I'm just thinking how to promote this, and I think when we think about EMI, we tend not to think much about the I. I think for lecturers, it's okay, I'm going to deliver this in English. But actually, what I see, the value of the training I see is also that we are language teachers, so we can teach, well, not my case, but most of you can teach them English. But also you can teach them how to teach.
Yeah.
And I think most of the lecturers, if not all of them, haven't been trained as teachers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And obviously for the, so I was going to say, the older, the worse, in the sense that, they would have been used, let me explain, Katia. They would have been used to a mode of delivery very traditional.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that in Cambridge. I hear of lecturers in Cambridge that are just still reading the same notes 20 years ago, and they are reading them, as we said yesterday. And I think, that of course also has the value of actually, providing a training that they never got.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's harder for some of the older lecturer, but I think it's also how to get the younger lecturer on board, and even before that, in their training as a PhD or as a postdoc, to include an element of that, because that's professional development, and I think you've got to catch them early. So I know we started in Cambridge a little bit to provide some, because our PhD students actually support students through supervisions and even demonstration classes, labs and stuff. So, and what do? You get in front of the class you never taught before. You've got maybe a 1 hour brief about how to teach. I mean, we all know that it takes more than 1 hour to learn how to teach. So I think it's really important to put the stress on the I and the EMI.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah, thank you.
And to convince the government bodies that there is a need of training teachers, apart from being very popular or very good at the different subjects, but they need be trained for that. So.
Because I think they come for the English and then they might actually leave the course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And realize they've learned something else.
I think that just a suggestion that an international staff training week could be organized, having this as its focal point. So it could be either for administration or for
Content
teachers, and then possibly if this is not adequate for a week, then there could be just what you are suggesting, that bring your material along, and then there will be some more tutorials with as many tutors as possible. So I bet this is going to be very successful.
We also do face-to-face.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So
checking the materials, not translating the materials, checking how to improve the materials that are already in English.
Yeah,
We do not
so-
offer translation, we offer just helping them to deliver did in English already, and let's check in that it's ready for the students and for.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I have a very brief comment? I represent the Faculty of English at Adam Mickiewicz University, but I've also had the privilege, great privilege of teaching at the University of Technology under Professor Shukadorna. My comment is I liked your presentation very much, and I'm very interested in actually reading the best practice guidelines. But what I wanted to mention is actually we're running a project now with one of the with Laocheng University, a partner university, Adam Mickiewicz University, Faculty of English actually, and I've been teaching for the past 2 months students from China, from the university online, and they're there, I'm here, preparing them for future studies in Poland, possibly at the University of Technology. And actually I absolutely agree with you. This is not my first experience of teaching international students. And actually at Adam Mickiewicz University, preparing them for future studies, for example, students from Saudi Arabia at the Medical University in Poznan. But my students from China, I've agreed to teach A2 level, which you can imagine is actually the only medium in English and actually online. That's a great challenge. And training, like you said, training of the teachers. I'm lucky because I'm in, as you can see, I'm an experienced teacher, and all of us, like the 4 of us, are experienced teachers. But it's a great challenge. I haven't thought about it, having taught for 2 years online, actually, because we've all been teaching for 2 years. But then I thought I hadn't probably realized that it's A2 level. That I have to actually use the help of some students who know English a little better, who can translate into Chinese to my other students who are sitting there. And you can imagine the group is actually quite small for China. We've negotiated 25 people online. They're much bigger groups usually, right? So I just, one of the things that came across to me very, very briefly, I'll tell you, is that every time, first of all, you have to, the specificity is that you have to call the name. They will not answer on their own. If you say, well, can anyone answer the question? There is no answer. You have to call them by the name. And every time they answer, they say, hello, teacher, which is very nice. So I say, hello, Maria, whatever they have English names. And at the end of the very short response, they say, thank you, teacher. So I have to say every time, I have to say, thank you, John.
Yeah.
Okay?
The way they
Somebody
behave,
else.
the way they behave is completely different.
But then, you know, it's a challenge, but also we have to be flexible, dealing with, like you said in one of your, at one point, that, and this is challenging, but also extremely interesting and valuable, except I think we all have to train teachers with shorter teaching experience, how to deal with the specificity of a culture, and especially if they're in mixed groups in the sense of
Because if you have
multicultural
only
groups.
Chinese students, it's one thing.
It's okay.
But you Chinese together with other nationalities is completely different.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more question.
Just a quickly, you mentioned at the beginning about competition, university competition, and you were talking about faculties here, and it's a great idea to spread it and to have a certificate, but how realistic would it be for your university here to be promoting this certificate of excellence to other universities in Poland and having them on rising to the same level as you in the instructions you give to teachers and potential teachers?
Well,
And also within faculties, because in Lithuania we struggle to cooperate on a faculty level, let alone international university level or national university level. So how would it work here in promoting this outside of Poznan?
Well, I think that's the easiest way. When we talk about university, it's not a problem, okay? Because you go to Senate, you go to some commission for education, etc. So we have some boards, okay, where quality is important and EMI is important. So it's not a problem. And we are quite popular. We talking about Center of Languages. And so this is one issue. For Poland, I would say that we run different initiatives, either university to university, having contacts like we have now, people from different universities, so we know each other. A very good solution is our association CERMO, the Polish one, which is the Association of Language Centers. You've been the president of ACLES, the Spanish association. So many initiatives. These are the initiatives, not top-bottom, but I would rather say bottom-top approach. People want to have the certificate, okay? So you have, of course, conferences, which is the best networking, okay? And I do believe in networking very much, and through other projects where you can start talking about something, and you apply for another project, which could be on national or international level, but it will be quality which matters. And in most cases, well, I think that we are more or less on the same level, Spanish universities and Polish universities, in terms of quality. This is a hot issue, EMI. Some people in Portugal, for example, talk about CLIL, which we differentiate, and we leave CLIL rather to primary and secondary schools. So EMI is higher education. But this division, it's still a question mark, because it's
because
not,
it's
everything
clear,
is
yeah.
not clear, let's say, white-black. I would say grayish or blackish. So we have to be careful. But this is these are the ideas which, and if you believe in something, it sometimes comes true. And we have also, as an umbrella, the circles, okay, the association, European association, where you can again bring some initiatives, and I know this is also the idea. The idea is to have people, well, to have idea, people, and start working, okay? And sometimes you just work for fun, and at the end of the day you say, okay, it's done, okay? So I do believe. Christina, do you believe? Yes. 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 We do. We do. Okay, thank you, because we've been running out of time.
Yeah, so about 3 minutes of technical break.
Yes, thank you. Technical break. So thank you. Thank you, madam. Yeah, I just eat something, so probably it's already there. Yeah.
Yeah, but not.
The very teacher's problem is the opposite. We don't.
Yeah, no, because I was the only one.
Oh, right, ladies, they have to teach you undergraduate.
So you're going to arrange
And no university teachers undergraduate.
Okay, good.
So, and they talk for the undergraduate.
Yeah. Okay.
Questions?
Yeah.